What's up, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Upland Show. We're super excited to cover this topic today. I personally have not been more excited for a single Upland event than this event. And people might be surprised by that because this specific event is not really an in-game thing, something that's happening outside of the game, but the purpose behind it I think is really cool, and I think it's going to be a monumentous day for Upland. I think we're going to see some massive sales. So what are we talking about? We're talking about the Upland Gala that is coming to the Metaverse. This is an auction. The Upland team gets on YouTube every other week, every other Wednesday, and this one's going to be next Wednesday, December 22nd, and they do an auction where players, usually it's like 10 players from the community, submit properties that they want people to bid on. And a lot of times they're really cool. I actually personally won an ultra rare through one of these auctions at one point.
So can anybody contribute or list their property?
Yep. And you fill out a form for the Upland team, and then they end up going and looking at these properties and picking out 10 of them that they let people bid on. But this one's going to be different. This one, they're actually not only doing the normal 10, they're requiring that every player who submits a property submits at least a rare or an ultra rare. And normally in the bi-weekly auctions, there's usually only like maybe three rares and ultra rares, or maybe one ultra rare, if that, and maybe a few rares. And this one is going to be all rares and ultra rares, which is pretty awesome.
And they can only be purchased through UPX and not through USD or
through this is all UPX.
With the trade of another property. Right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So what happens is there's kind of a Discord bot that it all happens in one of the Discord channels where you go in and every 20 seconds it resets the clock. If someone hits a higher bid, then it starts a new 20-second countdown.
Oh, wow. And
anyone who's signed up for the auction can submit bids, but you're required to purchase the property after the show. So if you put fake bids in there and you think it's funny to sabotage it, you'll probably go to Alcatraz if you don't actually buy it. They're pretty serious about making sure you follow through.
Yeah.
The coolest part about all of this, and it's the reason I wore my cancer shirt, is this cancer event was also for St. Jude's. This was like about a year ago when I was kind of new to Upland. A player from the community put together a St. Jude's event where they were also raising money, and part of me buying this shirt, all the proceeds went to St. Jude's.
I had no idea. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, so this is it was called the Manhattan Halves, and they were selling all these properties that had such and such with half in the number, which is kind of cool.
Okay, cool.
Because that's kind of unique, properties with a half in the number, you know?
Yeah.
So, honestly, this is a win-win for a lot of people. You can go, you can win ultra rare or rare property. Maybe even they'll throw in a landmark property. Who knows? I hope they. Sometimes they throw in really cool stuff in these, but it's going to one of the best causes your money could go to.
Yeah, Let me talk. Can I, if it's okay, let me talk to or about St. Jude just really quick. So, I'm sure that everyone who listens to or watches this video has heard of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. They do a lot of marketing and commercials looking for, donations and things. And, I was one of the masses who saw their commercials and their ads everywhere, and I never really thought too much about it until probably 15 years ago. I moved to Memphis, Tennessee, and that's where St. Jude is located.
Oh, cool.
There's only one location for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, and that's in Memphis, Tennessee. And I actually worked for them for the period of about 2.5 years. And let me tell you a little bit about St. Jude, which really kind of blew my mind when I first got there. Because I think after this explanation, I think you'll agree that while there are many very worthy causes to donate to, many really excellent charitable organizations, there can be no better than St. Jude. Certainly, I'm sure there's some that are just as important, but there can be no better in my mind. St. Jude is a children's hospital. It's a children's research hospital, which is important. What happens at St. Jude is they specialize in research to cure cancer, especially in children. And so part of how they further their research is by actually, working with children who have cancer, right? It's one of the finest institutions in the world for children's cancer. And it is probably one of the most heartbreaking yet heartwarming experiences to walk on their campus around their hospital.
It also helps people who are in the worst situation you can probably ever find yourself in, is having a child with cancer. A lot of these people can't afford all the medical bills, and they even will help the families, right? It's not just you get in. It's aren't all the bills covered pretty much?
It's 100% covered. All the medical attention, medicine, healthcare, specialists, procedures, tests, surgeries, anything that happens with your child at St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital is 100% covered. It is free.
Wow.
And it doesn't even go through your insurance. They don't even bill your insurance company. So your insurance company is now on the hook. There's just no bills. It's just completely covered by donations. The other thing is that imagine being the parent of a child who has this scary, scary cancer, and you are at your wit's end, and you don't, of course, want to be separate from your child. So what St. Jude's does is not only do they pay for the medical coverage, they pay for your stay the entire time that you and your family are in Memphis, there at St. Jude's. And it's so important to have the family there, because the child, could be anywhere from an infant all the way up to, an adolescent. And, healing always goes better when you're with your family or your parents or your loved ones or whatever. But
and a big part of healing in any situation like that is being in a good mental situation. And when your family doesn't have to be stressed about medical bills, the parents, I'm sure it's just such I can't imagine some of the stories.
Oh my goodness.
And the heart touching, and just,
I tell you, I worked there, and it's not really a very large hospital as far as hospitals go. It's kind of a smaller, location, but just walking through the hallways, walking into the cafeteria, for example, and you see these parents wheeling their children in wheelchairs, or these little cute little red wagons, and all these children look so sick, and they have no hair. It's just a horrible thing for a child to get cancer. And what a beautiful thing for St. Jude, for an organization to exist, to not only provide free medical care, but to bring the family along, all covered. And these clinicians, these physicians, these oncologists, these specialists, they are the finest people in their craft in the world. And they come, these people are Harvard, trained doctors, Johns Hopkins University, Oxford, people who really strive to want to be excellent in their craft at oncology or fighting against cancer. St. Jude is a prestigious place to be. And now, not every child that gets cancer gets to be admitted into St. Jude. They typically will reserve admission to those children who have the cancers that they're researching, the cancers that they're trying to further advancement in the treatment of those cancers.
Wow.
If it's just, your run-of-the-mill leukemia, not that I'm minimizing it by any means, but there's so much research already done on children's leukemia, pediatric leukemia, that's probably not as interesting to them. And so those children need to be treated elsewhere. But at St. Jude, again, very rare cancers, very, not necessarily rare, but just cancers that they're looking to try to further their research, but also to try to help those children. So every dollar you donate to St. Jude will go to helping a child in need. Now, of course, they have their budgets, they have their marketing budgets, they have their staff, they have their utilities, they have their facilities they have to pay for. But all of that is so that they can help children more directly. And so I can't think of a better charitable cause than St. Jude Children's Research.
Love it. I love that the Upland team is doing this. So what they're going to be doing, and let me tell you, this is your opportunity to give the middle finger to cancer, right? If you've ever had an opportunity and get something good out of it, get it. I mean, when have you ever been able to make a large investment that could have potentially monumentous returns and in the same token be donating to children's cancer research?
Absolutely.
This is a freaking awesome event. I love that Upland is doing this. So let's cover the details. Next Wednesday, December 22nd at 11 a.m. Pacific time, we will host the Upland Gala, featuring an assortment of only the rarest and most exclusive properties from across the metaverse, including a few unminted properties of our own. In celebration of the holiday season, we will be matching 50% of the UPX proceeds from our unminted auctions. So these will be the last 5 auctions and probably the biggest ones and the coolest ones because they're going to be ultra rares. It says they're going to be these will include 5 unminted ultra rare properties and 1 unminted train terminal.
Wow. So
that's 6 unminted properties that the game will be giving to this cause. And 50% of what's given. So let's say the average one goes for, I don't know, 3 million UPX. So we get 3 million UPX times by 6 is 18. That would give, if we do that well, that will give $9,000 to St. Jude's. Let's hope we do even better than that.
Let's do it. Let's show up.
Let's show up because, again, you're getting a super rare property that's going to have massive resale value. There's a few other details you should know about. They are introducing this thing called unminted auctions and minting caps. So I was involved actually in one of the first unminted auctions, and it was back when Clovis was released, and there was this Clovis and Fresno city. There was an ultra rare called Old Town Gems, and back then it was one of the it was the first time they've ever done an unminted auction. And me and one other player won. They let us bring up the price as high as we wanted to, and it ended up being the mint price. And I saw that as an opportunity. I was like ramming that, like keep putting the price up, and I got it up to 12 million UPX for a single property.
Wow.
But the nice thing is that is now the mint price, and my 17% interest, or it's actually like 40% interest that I earn on it because it's in the 2.7x boosted collection, right? They're changing that a little bit here. So this is where you should be aware, and to help you make the most strategic decision. Let's say it's going to be an ultra rare property, and they say the minting cap will be 1 million UPX, or let's say, I'm sure some of them will be higher. Maybe some of them will be 5 million UPX is the suggested mint price for this. So we're going to be able to bid past that 5 million UPIX or whatever it is. Like if we think it's worth double what the mint price is, which a lot of people usually do. So let's say they say it's at 5 million. I think we could see that property go for 10 million UPIX.
That's amazing.
So, but I just wanted to make sure that was clear for everyone. And that's only going to be on the last 6 properties that they do in the auction that is actually going to support St. Jude's. When I didn't read it carefully the first time I read it. There will be 10 properties prior to those 6 that are auctions that the community have submitted. So people like me and you can submit our rare and ultra rare properties. I already submitted one of mine from Jackson Boulevard. I think it'd be really cool if that one got in. You have to go to this link here. Come to community tab on the website. Go to news and events and come here to the Upland Gala blog post. And then scroll down and it'll say click here to submit a property or get verified. Even if you're not going to submit a property to be in it, to be in the event, you need to make sure you have a Discord account already and you go sign up to be a participant in the auction. You have to be pre-registered to participate. Don't think you can show up that day and start bidding on these. Make sure, because that'd be horrible if someone's like, I'm ready to give $10,000 to St. Jude's.
Yeah.
And they're not actually able to participate. So please make sure you go here, you click this link here, and you can either submit a property and or auction participant application. All you have to do is give your Upland email, your username, your Upland username, and your Discord username, and you can sign up.
Very cool. That's a great tip. I mean, that's very important for everyone to know. Sounds like the Gala is going to be a fantastic event, and I hope everyone shows up. And before we close this out, I have one quick story, if that's okay.
Sure. Yeah, please.
So while I was working at St. Jude, there was a campaign that the hospital started with the children. And, you know, one of the things about your healthcare, especially with children, is that, you know, as Loyal Doyle mentioned, being mentally upbeat, you know, is always very important. And so there's always these counselors and teachers and things on staff that just try to engage and help the children. Well, they came up with this idea one day to allow the children to express how they feel about cancer, you know, to everyone who shows up at St. Jude or walks through the halls. And it was called the Alphabet Campaign or the Cancer Is Campaign or whatever. But what it was is there's these signs that say cancer is ... And with every hallway, there was each letter of the alphabet, you know, displayed in that hallway. And a child was able to, was given the opportunity to describe cancer using the letter of the alphabet to explain, right?
In like one word?
In like one word, yeah. Cool. Or a couple words, but as long as it starts with that letter, you know, whatever those words are. Anyhow, just to close out, you know, there were, like, as I mentioned, there are teenagers who are there, who are patients. There are little tiny children there who are there, and they all got to participate. And every hallway had a new set of alphabets, you know, with words and everything to describe cancer. I just remember this one hallway, and I think this is relevant for this video. This one hallway, as I was walking down, I turned the corner, and it just so happened where I was at, the letter P. I entered into the hallway right where the letter P was in the alphabet, right? And the letter P, the word that was written there was written in crayon in the worst, like, little tiny children's handwriting, the cutest, I should say, little tiny children's handwriting. And the word was pain. And it just broke my heart. Now I turned left, and as I turned left, of course the letter before the letter P is the letter O in the alphabet, right? And some other child was able to write over. Cancer is over. for that child. And they had little balloons and stuff like that written on it. And I'm telling you,
oh my gosh, dude, that just hit me when you said that hard, bro.
Without St. Jude, it would have been a different over for that child. So do what you can to come to this gala, bid up, bid high, and let's do what we can to help these children have cancer be over for them.
Dude, thank you so much for sharing that. Let's do it, man. Let's come together as an Upland community. This is one of the coolest. As I said at the beginning, I've not been more excited for a single event. We get to make great investments and also go to one of the greatest causes to help cancer be over for some kids and be able to live out their life.
Absolutely.
And we get to help participate our funds into help going to save a life. There could not be a better cause, especially for a tiny little child, innocent child who's got nothing but potential for the future. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, we hope to see you in the next one. Peace out.
See you.